Okay, welcome everybody to the GEBC Conscious Reading Book Club, and today we are continuing our review of the 9 Insights for a Happy and Successful Life, written by Dr. Mitchell Earl Gibson. And so today our plan is to discuss insights number 3 and 4. Insight number 3 says, life is an exercise in the creation of a menu of possibilities. And insight number 4 is, remember to empty your cup once in a while. So let's get started, and we're going to talk about, first of all, insight number 3. Life is an exercise in the creation of a menu of possibilities. Okay, I hope everybody got a chance to read chapter 3 and see if you got any insights or any inspirations that came from insight number 3. So when you hear the insight number 3, life is an exercise in the creation of a menu of possibilities, what comes to mind? Tell you what, why don't we just kind of give an overview? Can anybody give an overview of what Dr. Gibson said in chapter 3?
I believe he used the example of the lady that wanted to be a talk show host.
Right, Linda.
And she found that her idea was more productive when she teamed up with someone to do it rather than trying to go at it alone.
Okay.
So from what I took from it, I think that he was saying that sometimes it's better to work in a group and also pay attention to the people who are placed in your life to see maybe what kind of gifts or what can they bring to help you develop an idea or something. One example that I thought of is when I was working for a particular cell phone company. They had this deal where you had a circle of friends, and these were like 10 people that you talked to the most when in your circle, and you could talk to them all the time. So I used to always think, okay, who are 10 people that I see on a daily basis that I talk to the most, and why? What is my connection to them? What is the relationship, and why are they placed in my life? So it just made me think of who's important in my life, and why are those people placed in my life, and what are they supposed to be bringing to me, or what am I supposed to be giving to them? Because we all are brought here with some sort of family, and I think it's a reason for that. So.
Okay. Anybody else?
Right. I think that paying close attention to your dreams is very, very important. Because when she was talking about the talk show host, she said she had a dream about Oprah and Winnie the Pooh. And it just made me realize that you really need to pay close attention to what you're dreaming about, and to and because it could be clues on what you really should be doing.
Okay. Anybody else? Before I give my point of view. Life is an exercise in the possibilities, or the creation of the possibilities. Let me get it right. Life is an exercise in the creation of a menu of possibilities. Well, let me just say what I was going to say. There's a quote by Donald Trump, and he says that the key to success is to surround yourself with people who believe in your genius. Now, all of you have dreams, all of you have goals and visions, things that you want to achieve. Now, what I see Dr. Gibson saying in chapter 3, or I would call insight number 3, is to tell us that your dream, for the most part, will not be achieved, or will be more difficult to achieve if you try to do it alone. In other words, we are social beings. It says in Genesis 2, it's not good that man be alone. People live in groups. We move in groups. We tend to socialize. We tend to hang out with people who are like us in some way or fashion. And the key to success is to be able to work as a team, to be able to work as a group. For example, as great as Michael Jordan was as a basketball player, he did not win his championships until he had a team of people around him, particularly Scottie Pippen and other people around him. A coach like what was the coach name? Phil Jackson, that actually helped him to become successful. So, in your dreams that you have and your goals that you have, who are the people around you that believe in your genius, that are working with you to achieve a goal? Just like the example Kim gave about the job that she was at. The truth of the matter is, they were, even though all of you all were in your lives together, the fact is the company was able to achieve its goal by the team of people that it had aligned at that job to sell whatever y'all was selling, to do whatever you were doing. In other words, from a spiritual standpoint, I feel that one of the biggest problems that people have in our community is we believe in this myth or this lie, this fiction of rugged individualism.
Right.
Everybody wants to do it on their own. They want to accomplish it on their own. They want to be like the Maverick or the Lone Ranger, if you will. And that's just not true. That's just not true. That's just not true. We need help.
Yes.
And we need support to be successful. And I think that people are making that fundamental mistake, not just in achieving human aspirations, but I believe even in doing their spiritual work. We try to do it. We try to do it by ourselves, as if I'm gonna accomplish this for myself, by myself. And that just don't happen.
Right.
Did that spark any insight to anybody? Other than agreement?
Yeah, you make some great points. I mean, I think about teamwork. I mean, you can't, right now it's football season, and one player can't do it alone. I mean, it's just a fundamental basis of being a team. And like you say, even in your spiritual work, you need to.
What does that mean? Teamwork. What does it mean? What does it mean for a spiritual pursuit that in order for you to reach your great potential,
Right.
you need to be in a group? What does that mean? How does that look? Why is that so important?
Well, I think that you need to bounce back off somebody what's really what you think or what you think you might believe or whatever. It's okay to discuss it with someone, especially a master or someone that that you can really, really learn something from. I mean, you just can't do it.
Let me
on
make it
your
more
own.
personal for you. You and Christy, husband and wife.
Right.
So, though y'all, though y'all are married and yet y'all are individuals, how does she, or vice versa, how does he help you to be a better you? How does you being together has helped you, or help both of you to become a better you? Or to become a worse you. Go that way.
I initially addressed you with that question.
In other words, you don't have an idea. Go ahead, go on.
Oh man. Well, I mean, you're gonna have times where you feel like that you sharpening the salt. I mean,
That's right.
She makes me grow in ways. When we got together, she definitely pointed out some things in my life that I had to take a look at that I hadn't examined. And I think that's good.
So in other words, iron sharpens iron.
Exactly.
So I heard one guy by the name of M. Scott Peck said, the purpose of marriage is friction.
Right.
In other words, is in the friction that you got sharper.
Exactly.
Iron sharpens iron.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anybody else? See, I really think that this is difficult to talk about because a lot of times I think
Well, it's
that
friction.
we really try to be this Superman, Superwoman. I can do it all by myself. and don't realize that there's nothing we're going to achieve that's really going to be great unless we have people who are working with us.
Right. When I read it, it actually kind of gave me relief.
In what way?
Where I didn't feel, because we are taught and we learn that we have to take action, we have to take initiative to get it done. You know what I'm saying? We have the God force within us, so we're supposed to make it happen. But at the same time, there are people that come across or come, in our paths that are sent to help us. And if we have our eyes shut to that, we will get consumed in trying to do it by ourselves all the time, when actually God has put this person on our path to help us, to assist us in whatever we're trying to do. And me reading that, it was like, it's okay to get help. It's okay to have others, because it's not only get help, you building relationships.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it,
I think he makes a real good point in the book when he says that you got all this land, but people seem to build their house close to each other.
Right. We live in communities.
We live in communities, and we don't really, a lot of people, they say, okay, they might want a big house with land and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of people still don't want to be in a place all by themselves in the middle of nowhere. I know I don't. Me personally, I don't. Right. You still want to have some neighbors.
Right.
Or community.
Go ahead, Florence, you want to say?
Well, it made me think about back in I guess I say high school, when your teacher would put you in groups, and it seemed like, most of the time it was 5 people in a group, and it would seem to always be myself and one other person, most of the time a female, that are actually working on the project that the teacher asked you to work on, and then the work that we do, everybody in the group get credit for it. So, I really didn't like being in groups. I felt like working alone was, sufficient. It was better for me to work alone. And I know I talk about Taekwondo all the time because that's my life, besides my children and my husband. But working with Taekwondo, I've been teaching by myself for 2 years. Every now and again when my husband have time, he come and help me. But we kind of bump heads a little bit, and then there's another guy that helps. But when they're there, I feel like, I'll be glad when they go back to work because I can do this, and I feel like more gets done. But then when they leave, I'm like, dang, we got 30 children in here today. Then the times that they come in, it will only be 15. So I do see where it is better to work in a group. But,
So what's the difficulty? Because, everything that has a light casts a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difficulty in working in a group? What's the difficulty? Why is
bumping heads? Everybody not on the same page.
People not on the same page? What else?
That's it for me. Or maybe, some people feel like their idea is better than yours. And so, your idea kind of get ignored, or, that's the only thing I see working in a group,
Anything else? You might say there's no problem working in groups? Or finding yourself in a relationship or in a gathering, a group, like you said, and trying to accomplish a particular task. Okay?
I feel like sometimes you have to slow down to go back and get the person that's not necessarily, they really don't get it, they really don't even want to be in the group, but they're just placed there. So it kind of slows your momentum down. But everybody that comes into your life is a teacher. So you can learn something from every person that comes in your life. So you have to kind of turn around and look at it like that. It could be completely frustrating, but maybe that's a lesson in patience.
So that's right. So let's look at that. So let's say you have a person who is ahead of other people and the person who is slow to other people.
Right.
So what lesson does the person who is more advanced can learn from the person who is not as advanced? What lesson can they learn from that person? What can be developed in the person that's advanced by being in a relationship with a person that's not advanced?
You just learn how to slow down and be more patient, and maybe analyze how you are communicating to them.
Okay.
So everybody may not get technical jargon, or however it is you're speaking. Maybe they make you, what they do is they make you adjust how you are leading
Okay.
to fit a wider range of people, because you're always going to have, everybody's not always going to be ahead as fast as you are, especially if it's something that you're passionate about and they really don't care nothing about. So it makes you have to adjust adjust how you accomplish a task.
Does it bother you, not you personally, but does it bother you when you realize that your success is dependent upon another person within the same group?
Yes.
Just like if you was in a classroom, you had a group assignment, and you depending on another person to do their part of the group assignment, and to realize that you are committed, you want an A, you want to get the work done, the other person is slothful. How does that bother you, or why does it bother you so much?
Like I said, you sat there and done all the work, and you trying to discuss whatever the topic is, and they're gossiping about who did it and what for. But that's it. Kind of it hinders you in so many ways. But also,
so how do we overcome that if it hinders you? How does the strong overcome the weak when they're in a group together?
I think when working in a group, say for example, the way we do our students, and I work in a media department, but the way we do our students, when they have a group assignment, they have to do a production. Everybody has a task. Nobody's task is any more important than the next person's task, from the producer to the editors to the camera ops and everything. But the producer's job, the director's jobs are to know everybody else in that TV station's job. And so we expect them to move faster and know more than everybody else. But what I find most of the time is that even though they can look in a book and know all the shots, they've come to all the classes, when I leave them alone and it's time to run the show by yourselves, and the people who seem to be slow and farther behind, when they don't know what to do, neither does the producer, because they've had so many tasks to learn that they haven't learned anything well. They know bits and pieces of everything. They don't know how to apply it. So that gives them the opportunity to then go back and work with that person, and they figure it out together. So I think that's the benefit that they get from the faster moving person to the slower moving person. And I don't really look at it as this person is strong and that one is weak, because if we're put here to work in a group for a reason.
Right, but see, the point is that everybody in a group does not bring the same strength. Yes,
that's right.
And everybody does not have the same intellectual capacity.
They don't have the same drive.
Or the same drive.
Motivation.
Absolutely.
But I have learned that, like the person that I was complaining about, I felt like I was doing all the work, but when I sold myself down, there are some things that I have learned from him. So, you still can learn from one another, and I don't think his passion is as strong as mine, but he does have, something that makes him come in to want to help me. So I had to kind of analyze him a little bit to look at what his strong points are.
Right.
And so I leave that area to him. I don't bother him. However he want to teach that area, I let him do that. And so I step over. And I tell you, it was hard for me, because I feel like it was too much of this too. But that's not my department. That's his. So, you just have to, it really made me slow myself down. And appreciate that area too.
I was going to say, I think that's the purpose, the point that this chapter was trying to make. Not that you should necessarily just seek out everybody. You got to learn how to work in a group, but you have to look at what everybody brings to the table.
Yeah.
You have to know that when it's time for us to put on a program at church, I'm not the singer or the music person, so
Yeah.
we're going to go to, right.
Yeah.
And you go to those people who do that part well. That's where the menu of choices comes in. If you're putting something on, you go to that person that does that well, not just because, well, I listen to music, I like music, so I can do it. I can do it myself. But why wouldn't you go to somebody who does that? That's
What does
their
the
thing.
menu of possibility mean when you read that? What does that? How do you interpret that?
I look at it as that person's gifts. Your possibility, that menu of possibilities are the gifts that you bring to the table. If I have my menu of possibilities is that I have a higher potential to be able to, or a higher focus to be able to do this, and that. And I bring those potentials and I say, this is what I got. This is what I can do. Let me tell you, this is what I can do. And then you bring your potentials and your potentials and your potentials, and then we put them together. We say, okay, this is how we work it out.
So the potential of what we can manifest increases when more people join in and contribute to the overall goal. So in other words, if I go in something and say, if I go into a project by myself, I have a limit of possibility of what I can do. But when you join me, and the rest of you guys join me in this task, we begin to increase the menu of the possibilities of what we can achieve, more so than what an individual can achieve.
Right. Good example.
Talk a little louder, Christian.
Good example. I misplaced the CD. I had a song to sing this morning. I didn't necessarily know which program to go to on my computer to download it, but guess what? Shelly did. So I called Shelly. And as it turned out, the CD player didn't even work. But guess what? Shelly brought her laptop. We worked together, which made the song, a success. Well, it made it doable that I could do it. Because it had not been for us working together or me calling on her, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
So in this project that we call church or community or any social organization, the more people withhold their the more people withhold their talents or their involvement.
Right.
What they actually are doing, they are limiting the potential of what can happen.
Absolutely.
Now that right there ought to just kind of run through us like an electrical current.
It really should.
Because what we can achieve,
I think about that when we look at the condition of our city.
Okay, go ahead.
Because everybody's fighting and arguing about, is the mayor doing her job? Is this person doing their job? Everybody's just sitting around complaining, but nobody is volunteering to step up to do anything. We just want to sit back and say, this person should be fired, that person should be fired.
Right.
And they're not doing this right, and nobody is offering anything.
Why do we do that? Why do people sit back and just delegate or surrender the responsibility for a church or to a city or to a community or even to a home to one single person? Don't realize that if I don't give my part, I limit the menu of possibilities for the whole group.
Right.
Well, why do people do that? Why do you think?
It's easier for them to follow somebody else than to get in there and help.
I think that's right. I mean, like, just to add on to that, I think we get caught up in other people's agendas more than our own.
Yeah.
I mean, we really focusing on what somebody else is doing, but if we focus on what we doing and the fight is in us. I mean, you get it. You have manifestation like what we're talking about in church, like or somebody or anything, Yeah.
Or it could be that there's no clear goal. What are we working on?
That's true.
They may not understand what it is you're trying to do, and then even if they do, they may say, "Well, I don't want to do that."
Right. Everybody, because people have their own agenda.
Right.
And I know I've been guilty myself of not wanting people to know that I know how to do I don't want anybody to know I know how to do this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Me
Because
too.
then if they know that I know how to do it, they're gonna ask me to do something.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got all this stuff over here all ready to do.
Right.
So I don't want you to know what I know how to do. So I don't even want you to look at my menu of
Yeah.
possibilities.
Yeah.
Keep it over there to myself.
Keep it in the book, close it.
But
Yeah.
then accidentally something happens, and a lot of times I think it's when you need somebody else, or something happens and you end up, working with somebody else, and it's like, oh, well, I had to show it, and this worked out well. So now, you realize, like the woman in her dream, that she knew that she had a friend who had who had this ability to be able to do something.
Let me put it this way. There's a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, written by Stephen Covey. And in that, he talks about synergy. And when I was reading Dr. Gibson's book, I thought about that chapter on synergy. In other words, like this. In the Bible, it would say like this: I planted, Apollos watered, God gave the increase. So when you look at when people come together, they create a possibility that neither one of them originally knew. So in other words, it's kind of like when a child is born. A man and a woman come together sexually. She becomes pregnant, and what they bring forth is a child, which is neither one or the other, but it's something. It's like 1 plus 1 not equaling 2. 1 plus 1 equals 3. In other words, a whole new idea, a whole new possibility is born when people come together. So in the book, I thought about this example that Dr. Gibson gave about when these particular groups got together, couples got together, like Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello. He didn't say Tom and Jerry, but I'm saying that Tom and Jerry and everything. Lamont and Fred Sanford. I thought about something that comes more out of our community, like Hitsville in Detroit. When you went to Motown, and in that little room, in that little old small building, was Berry Gordy, the Holland Brothers, Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, Diana Ross, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson. I mean, just think. There's not a minute that goes by every day when somebody is not playing a Motown song. And just imagine the magic that happened in that house when those minds came together. Now these people didn't come from wealth. They didn't come from the upper side of town and society, suburban area. They came from anywhere USA, and they brought their talent. Can you imagine what it's like when Marvin Gaye and Smokey Robinson and Stevie Wonder and all that was in a room together? Imagine the music they created. Now I'm asking you all, what are some? Now that's coming out a little bit of a different generation, but who are some groups, tandems that you have seen that came together and did something that just shook the world, turned the world upside down, that you all know?
Well, there's not a specific group, but I was a band geek also. And just looking at all the different instruments, all the different horns, when you get together, and I was in jazz band, it was really, the marching band was cool, we played other people's music, but with the jazz band, you make up music. And we all got together, and we'll end up being in there just playing music for hours and hours until our lips start getting tired. We got to take a break to get some water or whatever. But just having, your saxophones and your trumpets and your trombones, and you have your singer, she's doing her bebop or doo-wop, thing. But doing all that, we were like, man, we need to start recording this stuff. We've been there for hours just making just those different horns to get clarinets, Can
anybody think of any other collaborations that produced something that just mesmerized and turned the world upside down? Let me give you some ideas. Run DMC. I mean, we can laugh at that, but you stop and think about it. Run DMC. I mean, when they came together, what they did, it was amazing. You guys can't see that?
Yeah. Run DMC, they definitely did. I was about to say Public Enemy.
Public Enemy.
I mean,
Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Bob Marley and the Wailers.
That's classic.
Yeah, that's classic. I mean, Definitely.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I think sometimes we just don't realize the magic that we have created, or that people have created, when neither one of them had two nickels to rub together,
Right.
but they had $billion talent.
Right.
You know, you think about a couple of people that's out there that didn't have instruments, couldn't afford musical instruments, and didn't have studios, but got out there on the street corner and started just spitting rhymes out just off the top of their head.
Right.
And now the whole rap business, a hip hop community, that's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Right.
We can see, this is what I'm saying, this is what we don't understand. Where we come together, we create stuff that hadn't been seen before. This is all about creation. It's about creation. Matter of fact, that's the whole, really, the psychology of that I have even when doing in this church. It's the fact is, yeah, I have an inspiration, I have a vision, but the fact is, when you join in and become a part of it, you actually take it and create something that I never saw, I never imagined. It becomes something even greater than what you thought or what I thought. You know, like I said, the Bible says, Paul planted, Apollos water, God gives the increase. So you put the seed in the soil and it produces a plant that's beyond either one of our imaginations.
Right.
So I just want, I think this first insight, or this third insight about the menu of possibilities, teaches us a profound lesson that we have to go beyond the idea of you do it for me or I do it for myself. We have to understand the importance of interdependent relationships, that we do it together. And then in the process of us doing it together, synergy takes place and something is created that is truly magical beyond our wildest expectation or dreams. You know, so that's the power of creativity. That's the power of manifestation. Anybody got anything they want to say about the whole idea of working together and working in groups versus being isolated and trying to be a rugged individualist? Let me say one thing too. The whole thing about the spiritual path, the spiritual work, is that I think that one of the major mistakes we make in the spiritual world is that we don't understand the importance toward my spiritual growth. You sing it all the time, Christian, you in Florence in the choir. I need you. You need me. What's the other part of it? We all a part of God's body, of God's family. You know. And there's another, I mean, y'all can actually help me out, y'all can actually say the words. But the fact is that that's the whole point, is that we're not in it alone. You're not in this path alone.
That's right.
You know, you're not, when you fail or when you don't achieve and when you fall, the body says is that if you ever stumped your toe or hit your thumb with a hammer or whatever, notice what happens. Your whole body gets into the act. It's not that, well, hey, that's a thumb right there. The mouth will put it you'll bring it to your mouth. You know, you'll do, the whole body just gets involved with one part's hurt. Huh?
I said a cuss word might shoot out.
Well, but my point is that the body acts as a unit. Now, what happens many times is that people can get mighty individualistic and separatist, and they say, well, if your family goes through a suffering, well, that's just your family.
But don't you think that that's a very westernized type of idea? That's what they promote here in the United States.
Which one is that?
Just the idea of being in separate, or like you said, the Lone Ranger. You're supposed to do it on your own. We separate.
And you know what? That's a myth.
That's a fall of society. But think about it, because we, even in medicine, we separate everything. You got an ear, nose, and throat doctor. You got a heart doctor. You got a this doctor. They don't treat the whole body. They take it out in separate parts. Education is broken down into parts. Everything is broken down into parts. And then when we're forced to have to work as a community or to be a part of a corporation or something, we can't do it. We can't function because all your life you've been taught to get it on your own. Do it by yourself.
Right.
So I feel like, and you can talk to other people that are from other countries, they don't have that mentality. That's a westernized thought. That I gotta do it alone.
That reminds me of a phrase that I've said often. It's an African philosophy. I am because we are.
That's right.
I am because we are. And so you're right. It is a kind of a philosophy that they try to teach through the media. But in truth, if you look at America, if you look at America, America is one of the great examples of a nation that has become as great as it is because of the collaboration. All the times, not necessarily, it has not necessarily been appreciated, but where would America be if it wasn't for the mixture of ethnicities that have contributed to this nation? You know, just think where America would be. Just think where America would be. You know, so that's something that I think that is very important, that the greatness of our country, or the menu of possibilities, actually it increases because of all the different kinds of people that are here. Take a city like New York. Take a city just like New York City. You know, when I got a chance to go to New York for the first time, and I saw all the various, ethnic groups that were occupying that particular region, I could see how a person who had an education or had an upbringing in that environment would be far more advanced, excel far quicker than a person who was basically in a homogeneous, that is a one-of-a-kind environment. And yes, they do have conflicts, and yes, they do have an increased menu of problems. But with that also comes the increased possibilities of solutions. They don't have this inbreeding thing that's going on, whereas you see in a lot of small, in a lot of small communities that are segregated and separatist. They don't have this type of greatness.
But God itself, or the Creator itself, is expressing diversity. That's part of nature. You don't have one type of tree. You don't have one type of bird.
Dog.
Or one type of dog. The beauty of it is the diversity. And when people get stuck in this idea of, well, it just needs to be this way, one way, and we need to pull ourselves apart from them because they're different. You can watch, like you said, if you watch a small community, a small town, that, like you said, inbreeds and stuff like that, you will see that town does not grow. It dies. Anything that doesn't have a diversity, it dies eventually over time. Because that, like I said, that is God itself. That is creation. Creation is diverse. If it's not, it withers away. It dies.
Yeah.
Because nothing new is being created.
That's right. So this is a real profound point, that I think that we should keep in mind of why it's important that we should not be afraid of duality. We should not be afraid of diversity. As a matter of fact, we should embrace it. And that doesn't mean that because you are you and I am me, that you must become me and I must become you.
Just appreciate it.
In other words, but I have to respect your difference. It doesn't matter, respect your difference and be able to learn from the distinction, because we do have one thing in common, and that we all share the planet, we all share humanity, but we come at it from different perspectives. I often have said that spirituality can best be defined as the ability to embrace divergent perspectives, spiritual perspectives, while holding on to your own. And I find that in many of our so-called spiritual institutions, the dogma that particular institution embraces prevents people from being able to even want to hear a different perspective, because there are people say they're afraid that if they heard it, they would lose theirs, which is kind of weak in the first place.
Well, that explains why people are afraid of working together.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So
Say more about that. What it sounds like you kind of had an insight when that kind of hit you.
I mean, it just explains why we do not embrace working with one another, sharing of ideas. You know what I'm saying? Because we feel like if I share this idea, then I'm gonna lose me because this person might take this idea and run with it. You know what I'm saying? Or they're afraid of what may come out of working together. You know what I'm saying? This person might get this person might get more recognition for this idea. When you know what I'm saying, and they're afraid of that. They are afraid of someone else getting more shine about an idea that they brought to the table.
Right. And people can be very insecure, in a group about expressing their idea or thought.
Right.
They can be very insecure, and therefore they hold it.
Right.
And don't put it out there where the light of another idea can shine on it and might perfect it,
Right.
and then actually expand it.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's I think we kind of worked that over pretty good. Let's look at the next insight, the fourth insight. It says what?
Remember to empty your cup once in a while.
Now I like this one. Remember to empty your cup. What?
Once in a while.
Once in a while. Now what's that about? What's that about? You got an idea about that for us? Remember to empty your cup.
Let things go. I don't know. I guess I would always think, until I read this chapter and thought about some other things, I would think I was letting the situation go. Then I find myself talking about it a week later. So I hadn't emptied my cup. I'm still holding on to it. And then I even have dreams about, the situation. So I know, I'm definitely want to, work on some of these things that he talked about. But that's a deep one for me.
Okay. Anybody else? What does emptying your cup mean to you? To empty your cup.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I said something. Go ahead.
It's all right. I think that, to me, it made me think about enjoying the moment, and don't let any of your baggage, any of your previous stuff affect the present, the now of what's going on right now. Enjoy.
How do you do that?
Live in the moment.
Yeah.
How do you live in a moment, one? That's a nice phrase, but
Yeah.
how to yourself? How do you? Because man, you're a salesman.
Right.
You got a family. You have children to take care of and stuff. So how do you empty your cup, relax, and just shut off? Bills still got to be paid. One.
Right.
And the grass had to be cut.
Mm-hmm.
Children got to be dealt with. How do you just push that aside when all those things have to be done?
That's a really good question. I guess everybody kind of has like different things that they do to empty their cup. Some people might go out and work out in the morning before every day, and they feel like, okay, I can make it through the day. Some people might pray. Some people might meditate.
Yeah.
It's different ways to do it. I think that if you don't have something to do, if you don't have some way of emptying your cup, releasing yourself, then you liable to do something or say something that you ain't got no business saying. Do something you ain't got no business doing.
The operative word people use when they do go off, I got full.
Right, I got full, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the metaphor. It's like they reach up. They reach. I've had it up to here. I've taken all I can take, and I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind now.
Right. Here it is.
And they gonna empty on you.
Right. It's an empty, all right.
That's how my honey do. He sit there. He go off on people, and I'm like, boy. Well, I'm just but he said that's his way of emptying. He don't hold. He said I hold on to stuff. And he said, he'll give him that 1, 2, 3 strikes you out, and then he's gonna go off on you, And he's really working on. He don't cuss you out, but he's gonna tell you about yourself. And then he'll come home at 5 o'clock in the morning, doing some push-ups, and that's his way of emptying his cup. But when he say I've had it up to here, he's gonna go off on you, and then he'll come back and talk to you like he ain't said a thing.
Okay, I don't know if that's all that healthy, but we'll take that as an example.
For him, I don't know about that person, but it helps for him.
Okay, we'll go with that. You might say something, Kelly?
Oh no, I was gonna say when I was, reading this specific chapter or whatever about emptying your cup, that I took it as, just stop. you know, not releasing anything that happened to you, because a lot of times that takes more than just talking to somebody about it, or you know, not necessarily letting an event go, because that takes a little bit more. But if every day you just stop and say, I'm not gonna answer the phone for, you know, this amount of time, I'm not gonna talk to anybody, I don't, you know, the kids will be fine for 15, 20 minutes, and so will everybody else in the world, you know. And you know, if they're not, then I'll deal with it when I'm done. But my thing that I always have to remember, as a mom, as a daughter, sister, friend, all of those things, everybody, a lot of time from women, there's somebody always needing something, needing something from us.
That's right.
Needing us to do something. Right. And we are always needing to do something for somebody else. So the thing that I tell my friends all the time is, especially when it comes to work or other people outside of your children who you have to take care of, if you fall dead today, they're going to ask somebody else to do it tomorrow. Right. So you have to take, I have no problem telling somebody, I'm sorry, I'm tired. I can't help you today. I might be able to help you tomorrow.
Which gender empties their cup?
Men.
Best.
Right. Yes.
Men or women?
Men.
So women actually have a hard time emptying their cup.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because men are gonna go empty their cup. Because if men don't empty their cup, then we probably all would be in the situation where, like, flows honey, where, you know, the men going around bopping everybody on the head and tearing up stuff.
Yeah.
We want men to empty their cups, but then it puts more stuff on us, because while they emptying their cup, then we gotta wipe the floor. We gotta wipe it off the floor. Whatever they empty, we gotta clean up. Or while they taking their break in their man cave or whatever, you know, then we gotta. Well, you know, I need you to be in here cooking and cleaning and all this kind of stuff, you know. Yeah. That was something we saw in that video, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. That was one of the concepts that they talked about, you know. But that's something that women have to do.
I think I heard.
Let me ask this question.
Now, you remember you gotta go home.
Right, remind them of that.
It's just a simple question.
You and your empty cup.
Can a woman empty her cup by doing something like shopping?
Yes. Yes.
Well, how can we empty our cup?
Y'all need to bring some money home.
Most women love
to shop.
Yeah.
And a lot of women shop all the time.
Well, a lot of them just window shop. They don't just necessarily.
Now, see,
that can be added to your cup.
Well, that is into a whole other thing, though.
Yeah.
That goes into people who are trying to escape from something. Yeah, they're trying to escape. That's not emptying your cup. You know, because like, everybody know how much I like cupcakes. And so that's my that's my release. That's emptying my cup. That's a treat that I save for myself.
That's right.
For a time when, you know, if I'm just having a rough week, then I just say, you know what, I deserve to go and get me the cupcakes I want and go sit down and enjoy.
But you know though, Shelley, you probably are a very unique sister, because most of your sisters have a problem of doing something that they enjoy
for themselves, because it makes us feel like we're being selfish.
Yeah, right. And I think that's a big problem.
It takes for you to get to a point where your cup is full.
Right.
It takes where it takes.
I don't think that's good.
It's not. It's not healthy.
Right.
I know a friend who told me an example of a friend who was, you know, she had everything together. She was one of those people where her children were perfect and her house was always clean, and she served at the church and she worked at the school and she did everything.
Right.
But
For the Lord.
behind closed doors, she was going crazy because she couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
She
right.
couldn't
Yeah.
keep up. She couldn't keep up,
She couldn't keep up
and
with her
she
own-
right. She couldn't keep up with herself,
Her
and
own
she had a nervous breakdown.
I can believe it. I
She
can
had a
believe it.
nervous breakdown.
So in other words, a lot of ladies, women are crazy because they don't actually empty their cup.
Because their husbands dump too much in the cup. No, but I was gonna say I heard Ruby Dee say once that women are the mule of the world.
The who?
The mule of the world.
Okay.
And I just, when I heard it, it made me feel so awful because I thought about it and I was like, God, that is true, but it sounds so horrible.
Yeah. Now, what does that mean?
That means that you carry everybody's burden
Right.
all the time.
And you know what though? The truth of the matter is, if you look at it anatomically, in terms of empty your cup, I believe that there's a reason why women have a very difficult time in emptying their
Right.
cups. Because women are cups.
Right.
Yeah.
Because women are receivers. Women are cups.
Right.
Yeah.
The very nature of the uterus, it is a cup.
Right.
Men are swords, women are cups. Therefore, women really do need to put a high priority on emptying and cleansing their cup.
Right.
I think that a lot of the problems that we have gynecologically
Right.
in women is
Absolutely.
because they do not cleanse and
Yeah.
empty their cups on a regular. I think the habit says, or the insight says, every once in a while, empty your cup. Now that to me, that means that this has to be something that is programmed and practiced consistently.
Right.
Yeah, it needs to be.
You don't wait till you get,
About to blow up.
about to blow up to the point, or wait till you find yourself in a hospital with a
Right.
mental breakdown, or a mental
Yeah.
institution with a mental breakdown. You say, I need to rest.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to take a break in everything. So there are three things that I read Dr. Gibson said on how to empty your cup, and I just want to put them out there and then see how you guys respond. He says, first of all, do nothing 20 minutes a day. Every day, a person should spend 20 minutes just simply doing nothing. Okay, we'll come back to that. Number two, it says share that 20 minutes with someone you love. Now in doing that, you can be sharing at times like sitting, holding hands, or listening to music, or watching a movie, saying nothing, just being present to each other in that time.
Right.
He said number three, do something loving for yourself. Do something loving for yourself. Anybody got any insights on that?
I did. In the email I sent out, I said, he suggested to take 20 minutes a day to just do nothing. And then I thought about it, because a lot of times we come up with these excuses like, I ain't got the time to do that.
To do nothing.
To 20 minutes out of my day. So I broke it down. I said, think about it. 20 minutes is only 1.4% of your entire day. That's nothing. That's less than 2%. So when people say that they're unhappy or they're stressed out, how committed are you to being happy, or to that you can't take out less than 2% of your day to just do nothing and take a break?
Do you have a comment? Can you look find a comment that a question that Rashida Barnes asked? I think I sent it to both you and Shelley.
Yeah, I got it.
But I think that's important. And while you're looking that up, let me just say this. I think the problem, again, is a Western problem, particularly for us in this I can do all things
Right.
society. Everybody trying to do, just do it kind of thing.
Right.
We have a problem or a prejudice against doing nothing.
We do.
Right.
We have a problem with doing nothing.
Right.
We have a problem with nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you call somebody and you say, Reverend Bullard, what you doing? Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, that symbolizes
Lazy.
you're lazy,
Yeah.
or you're shiftless, or
Right.
shucking and jiving, or
Right,
something like
right.
that.
Or can you do something for me?
Well, yeah, if you don't have anything
Yeah.
to do, you can do something for me. People want to put you to work. And so, did you find a quote yet?
Oh, it was a question. It really wasn't a quote.
What was
For
the question?
chapter 4.
Yeah. Which
She said, how many different cups do we have?
Okay, let's look at that. Rashida asked, how many different cups do we have?
I think that goes back. That's a question that's really good and applies to women. It goes back to and not just women, but it goes back into something that I heard and studied before in a sociology class about the different masks that people wear. You know, you know, you, for instance, are a pastor, a father, a friend, a brother, an uncle. You know, all these different things. You know, then when you break it down in the church, then you have different roles: a teacher, this and that. And those are your different cups, I think.
I think that's
at times, you know, at times you have to, you may get more full in teaching at, you know, than you get at something else. And right, yeah, you may not have to do as much in that task. And so I think that's how people are able to balance, whereas when, you know, most mothers, we're not going to get as full in our cup. Well, sometimes we will with our children, but we try not to get as full.
You do get full with your
we
children.
do. I mean, they make us full, but we try to let that hold out and be the last thing. But that way you have to empty your cup with something else. But you have to empty your cup with something else. If you know, say for instance, this week my children have a lot of activities going on at school. I know my cup is going to be full. So with something else, when somebody comes along, I can't do it. I gotta let a little bit go in my role at, you know, something as being a sister. Okay, I can't take care of your problems today because this cup is about to tip over.
Right. The children.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead. Anybody want to make comments on that?
I was just thinking, I think as mothers, we get consumed with remembering or hearing about what our mothers did. And we try to keep up. You know, she had 10 children.
In the field. While she was in the field.
I cooked cotton 4 times a day. I chopped cotton. And I took care of that sorry man. And we try to keep up.
Yeah.
It's a new day.
So is that guilt? That idea that if you take off from, if you say this is me time, you know, for you,
my God.
Right.
Do not forget.
Do your children, or do children, not necessarily your children, but do children make you feel guilty for not, you know?
My children don't, but I'm gonna tell you who will run the guilt trips.
Your mama.
No, your mom. And if not your mama, somebody else.
Because the first thing they say, if you say you need time for yourself, you gave that up when you had that baby.
But see, I'm gonna tell you, my mother would say, Christy, you need to take a break, Christy. If you give everything, because you know, you give everything to them boys, you give everything to them, you gotta take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you won't have anything to give them.
I've heard of mamas say that.
But I've heard other older women tell me, like, it's crime if you in the bed, if you taking a nap, if you laying down.
Right. I need a nap. I ain't never had a nap in my
Y'all
life.
one just said. He just said something that I think that enslaves a lot of women.
That's a slogan.
A woman's work is never done. A man's work is coming. What, son to son, son. But a woman's work is never done. Now, see, now, that's a horrible thing. That's a horrible thing to live by.
And you know that there's a like story that goes on with that quote that is never done, not just because we're doing physical things, but even once we lay down, it's like, okay, when I get up in the morning, I gotta do this, and I gotta and then I forgot to turn this off. Let me get back out.
When was the last time any of you have ever been on vacation?
Now don't ask me that, like you said, me being different. I go on vacation monthly.
I just started this going church.
A couple months ago.
I went somewhere this
But I got a different take on the cups. I mean, you know, I don't know. When I had my chakra, the oil red, my throat chakra was red. Everything else was, you know, pretty good, but right here, it was red. And I have a feeling that the wheels of light, the chakras, is a cup.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because when I started writing more, when I started actually speaking, what I felt, I actually literally felt better. And but because I was obviously abandoning a cup in my body.
That's a good point. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah,
Right.
and you know, I mean, I think it can go from for all 7 of them. You know, you can not exercise a certain chakra or not give it attention, and that cup will start to.
But you know what though? To keep it in balance with emptying your cup, it really, and obviously we'll take Dr. Gibson to explain this on his what kind of clairvoyant medicine.
Right.
Is that there's a certain balance
Right.
that your chakras should have.
Should have. Right.
A balance. In other words, they can be underactive and they can be overactive.
Right.
But there's a sense where they have to be
But they
balanced.
balance.
Right.
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 And so when you overuse a particular chakra,
Yes.
you overstress one, it creates a dark force in it. It creates an imbalance in it.
Right.
Now, for me, this goes back to a principle that's in the Bible that says the Sabbath day. Remember the Sabbath day. And there's a Sabbath day, there's a Sabbath month, a week, there's a Sabbath month, there's a Sabbath year. I actually believe in some of the more esoteric texts that there are Sabbath hours. You know, every hour, or this is what we call celestial timing. There are some times in the day, certain times in the day, that you should really just pull back.
Right.
I think the English people have what they call tea time
Yeah.
at 4 o'clock. Whereas people who are slaves, who have been raised in a slave mentality, slave to the clock, slave to work,
Right.
just slave to their goals.
Yeah.
Their goals are leading them rather than they are actually leading the goal. I think that we don't give ourselves a break from what we want to do or what we want to achieve. Sometimes, I say again, it's just good just to do nothing.
Right. Right. Right.
Just like you said, let it go.
Let it
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I mean,
With expectation.
I mean, sometimes it's nothing more than to, whatever your favorite food is, whatever your favorite little pastime is,
Do it. Go
it's
get
just go and just get it. Go get you some ice cream, go get you a cold drink or whatever, and just sit up there and shut down the computer or whatever it is that you work and it's always got your mind operating, and just sit there and just, you know, let the day go by and just do nothing. Watch a stupid movie, you know. I mean, something that's gonna make you laugh. That ain't
Right.
serious. Say for me, I'm always watching a documentary or watching some type of educational program. So there are times when I just need to sit there and just watch something that's absolutely stupid, a cartoon of some kind.
Dumb
you know?
and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber.
I used to watch that all the time.
Right.
I mean, I could watch it over and over again, and I find some stupid new that they did in the movie, and I just be like, I didn't even see that one. That's my movie right there.
I'll make a confession. One of the things that Dr. Gibson has always tried to tell me, because you know he's very good at reading your energy and everything. He told me, he said, you need to do something good for yourself. You know, you need to do something for you. Not for the church, not for the good of the order, not to try to increase this.
Yeah.
Just do something good for you. And you know what? I really struggled with that.
Because you were not,
What am I gonna do?
and I used to doing that.
I don't know what to do.
Right.
You don't know what to do.
Right. What
Don't know what to do.
What do I like? I mean, what do I really want to do?
So
Yeah.
what is being taught here is empty your cup.
Right. Shine
Empty
light.
your cup. Because the more you can empty your cup, the more can be put in your cup,
Yeah.
That's right.
and you can advance.
Right.
It's a very profound lesson to, you know, sometimes when you get together with your friends and everything, can you imagine just sitting there and just being in each other's company, not asking to do this, not wanting this, just sit there like two old folk on the porch holding hands. See, I see that one day for you and Christian.
That's having a good friendship.
Yeah.
I can do that.
What you said having a what now?
I said that's signs of a good friendship
Right.
when you don't have to
Entertain.
Yeah,
You
right.
can just be together. I know when my best friend who stays in Georgia, when I went to see her one time, stayed there for 3 days. We did not leave the house. We stayed at the house. We cooked. We laid on the couch and laughed and talked and watched movies and stuff. And her husband would go to work. He'd come back home. We still on the couch. And he said, "This all y'all gonna
Another
do?"
time the whole
He
day.
said, "This all y'all gonna do the whole
Yeah.
time?" You know.
Yeah.
And we like, "Yep."
Right.
That's all we need. We don't see each other that often, so we
Right.
were just happy
Enjoy
just to
it.
be
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
beside each other.
Right.
That's all we needed.
Right.
That's right. Well, y'all, anybody got anything you want to add on that one? Okay. Well, this is going to conclude our session for Insights 3 and 4. Next week, we're going to come back and we're going to do Insights 5 and 6. So we look forward to you joining us in discussing 9 insights for a happy and successful life. To those of you who's a part of the book club and you have an insight on chapters 5 and 6 of this, by all means, communicate with us, write us, email us at mindofgracepb@gmail.com. Until then, we'll see you next week. Have a great day.